Hi everyone, Leon here. Welcome back to my channel, the channel that inspires learning. In the previous video, I shared with you some possibilities why we're not feeling love. If you're interested to find out more, check it out here. In this video, I'm going to share with you some of the ways in which we can feel love. Do you know that the person's brain's organization reflects the experiences infants and children have with their mothers or other primary caretakers? This can affect the way we behave and feel as we grow. From a scientific point of view, it was a startling discovery that at birth, the connections between cells in our human brains are largely disorganized, unlike all the other organs in our bodies. And not only this, the brain can produce new cells and connect with other cells throughout our lives, meaning it can change or build new neural structures even if our old brain structure remains imperfect or diseased. Therefore, if you cannot feel love or happiness before, it doesn't mean that you can't feel it now. However, it does give us something to think about on how to treat our children when they're young so that they can feel seen, understood, and valued. Studies in positive psychology tells us that most of the things we think will make us happy don't. For example, we often hear people saying, "I can't be happy unless I am successful. I can't be happy unless I have money, unless I find the right person," and so on and so forth, right? But none of the research in positive psychology tells us that lasting happiness has anything to do with all those I've just mentioned earlier. However, what was proven to be true to make people happy, not just for a short while, was their pleasurable involvement with others. Even if we don't think it is the case, it is. There's a case in this book where people were asked if they would rather sit alone during traveling or sit with someone else to talk to during travel. Most would say that they would sit alone. To test this assumption, an experiment was carried out, and those who sat with another person who has someone to talk to during the trip find the trip more enjoyable and pleasurable. Therefore, even if we think we don't need others, we do. So, how do we feel love, and what is it like to feel love? From a biochemical perspective, it was discovered that the hormone oxytocin, also known as the love hormone, facilitates loving experiences and social behavior. It is also known to counteract stress hormones such as cortisol. It can reduce stress and trigger emotions such as happiness and affection. So with all these benefits, how can we get more of it? How is it produced? Oxytocin is triggered by the exchange of nonverbal emotional cues that express approval, attention, affection, and understanding. It can be hugs, kisses, gazes into the eyes, not staring, and some other positive non-verbal cues. One of the ways to secrete oxytocin is to slow down our pace. How many of us are rushing around, doing many things at one time, multitasking, exhausted, and getting all stressed out? These are the things that make us lose the opportunities to feel love, as well as make others feel love. Now, for example, how does it feel when you're talking to someone close to you, your loved ones, your family, and they are just walking around, moving around, doing their things, and giving you replies that make you feel that whatever they are doing is more important than you and the conversation that both of you are having. Now, I've talked about this in the 5 love languages in my earlier videos. If you missed it, you can watch it here. So coming back, another way to secrete more oxytocin is that we have to understand it happens in the moment, face to face. It is not through phone calls, messages, or the number of likes or follows in our social media. But if you want to like, share, or comment on my post, feel free to do so. So remember earlier what I mentioned about the non-verbal emotional cues? It is the way you look at them, the way you listen to them, the way you move and you react, that can make the person feel love and tell them at the same time how you are feeling. There's an example in the book about this teacher, Bonnie. She's young and inexperienced, but she was put to this class of mischievous students where even the experienced teachers cannot make them listen. However, when she was put to the class, the students started to be captivated by her and started to listen and be more obedient. Why? All the other teachers were amazed and surprised at how she did it. She just told them that what she did was just to give them her fullest attention, listening to them, showing interest in what they say. She's never judgmental, never blaming them. And the children feel it and reciprocate it in their own ways. This reminds me that when I was a kid going to school, we are actually not dumb. We can feel the love from the teacher, which teacher is authentic in their care and love for us, and we reciprocate back, right? Next, we have to feel emotionally connected to ourselves first before we can feel emotionally connected to others. That is, if we don't feel love ourselves, it is hard to make others feel love. This is a two-way thing, and the more we give, the more we receive. Last but not least, it is never too late to begin feeling love. There's this example in the book about an old couple in their mid-70s. Both have their children and grandchildren, and both spouses have died. They met each other in the mid-70s, fell in love like they've never fallen in love before, and they have intention to wed. At first, the children were against it, but they stood their ground, got married, and their children were grateful because the result of the marriage is happy, healthy, and their children don't have to worry too much about their lives. So you see, remember these few things if you want to secrete more oxytocin in your life. That is to slow down your pace, and that it happens in the moment, face to face. And if we don't feel it, it is hard to make others feel love. Last but not least is it is never too late to feel love. Alright, so now we know some of the ways that we can secrete oxytocin in order to feel love. But what are some of the things that is preventing or interfering with our intention to feel love? I'll be sharing this in my next video, and do hit the subscribe button or the notification bell to be informed of my next release if you're interested. In the meantime, you can check out my other learnings from the books I've read, like the 5 Love Languages, Start With Why, and Contagious. I hope this video has brought value to you. If you like this video, do subscribe to my YouTube channel for weekly learnings on the books I've read in relationship, business, and personal development. Or share it with a friend you care about. Because when you share, you're not just sharing a video, you're sharing content that could make a difference in people's lives. I thank you for watching, wish you well, and see you in the next